Good afternoon, dear students. Today we are going to read the poem Six and Out. About the poet Gerald Giuliani Martineau. He born in the year 1897 and died in the year 1976. Was a prolific English cricket writer. Prolific means very creative. He is very creative English cricket writer. Cricket writer means the articles or a poem, whichever he is writing, it's related to the cricket. Only related to the cricket topics he is writing. Martineau's noble work on cricket include bat, ball, wicket and all, and they made cricket. He is always writing about cricket. Let's move to the poem part. Six and Out. By seeing the title Six and Out, what comes to your mind? Obviously, cricket. But here, the six and out is a pun. Pun means what? P-U-N, not F-U-N, P-U-N. Pun means a word which has two meanings. Here, the title Six and Out has two meanings. Pun means a word with more than one meaning. Here, six might refers to the lock-up time of the park, after which the players were forced to play on the street. The another meaning, six also might refers to the six boundary hit by one of the batsmen, after which everyone ran away from the scene. This title gives two meanings. For that reason, this is called as pun. P-U-N, pun. Pun means a word with more than one meaning. Physical games have always been the fascination of boys and girls everywhere in the world. Although sports and physical games have been reduced to one's living room due to scarcity of playgrounds in cities, children in villages are luckier because they have space to play and enjoy. The poem presents a similar situation where children have been forced to play cricket outside the park because it closed down at 6 and they were out of the park. The children's determination shows that space is not a limitation factor for sports. All we need is determination. The poem just reverberates the experience of many of us. We must have played somewhere, sometimes, someday on the roads, on the street, and might well be on the roof of our homes. Childhood is a great experience, and the poet Martineau seems to be suggesting the same. As he was a great writer of cricket-based works, he might find himself connecting with the cricketing sides very soon. Let's move to the poem. The pitch was only smooth in part. It sank at either crease, and motor vans and baker carts at times disturbed the peace. Now, where are they? They are on the street, they are on the road, because at 6 o'clock they are going to close the park. The children are forced to play on the street. Now they are playing cricket on the street. So they are explaining about the pitch. Pitch means what? An area of ground used for outdoor team game. You heard this word pitch in the cricket game. Pitch means the 20-meter long and 3-meter wide central area where cricket is played. The pitch is only smooth in part. The pitch is not uniform. It is uneven. Somewhere it is smooth, somewhere it is hard. The pitch is uneven. It is not smooth. Where they are playing cricket? They were playing cricket in the street. It sank at either crease. The pitch is not even. For that reason, they were telling that it sank at either crease. Crease means what? The area other than the pitch where the batsman and bowler stand. The motor vans and breaker cars at time disturb the peace. So they are playing cricket in the street. For that reason, they are getting disturbance. Who is disturbing them? The motor vans and breaker cars. Now, as you all know that the area where the children are playing, it was not actually the playground. It was the busy road. So, often the motor vehicles and vans and baker carts, they were crossing by the road. So, the children are to stop their game because of disturbance. Baker carts sold bakery items. They were playing cricket in the street and it was not smooth. They are getting disturbed from the vehicles and the game was not smooth because of them. The bowlers found it hard to hit the lamppost center stem. The broader wicket opposite was cleared at 6 p.m. On both the ends were lamp posts, the lamppost which the children used as their wickets. They are not having any wickets to play, so used lamppost stem as a wicket. It is a public property. How the lamppost stem was? It was thin. Lamppost stem was thin. Slender means thin. That's why the bowler found it hard to hit. He found difficulties to throw the ball. The closing time of the park was fixed. Cleared means here closing. Closed. The closing time of the park was fixed, but the children does not let out their idea of playing. So they got to know that at 6 o'clock they are going to close the park, but because of that they are not let their idea of playing. So they played on the road. It was a keen, determined school, unorthodox and free. Harsh circumstances oft made the rule, not the MCC. Children were very determined to play. So they started playing on the busy road. It was a keen, determined school. School means group. It is a keen and determined school. Unorthodox and free. Unorthodox means open-minded and free. All the players in the group were same mindset. They are all thinking same. Harsh means tough. Circumstances means situations. Harsh circumstances of made the rule. We are making their own rules. It means the players making their own rules, not the MCC. MCC means Melbourne Cricket Council. For India, it is Indian Cricket Council. The poet belongs to Melbourne. That's why he is speaking about his country, means his cricket council name. They are not following actual cricket rules. You know the actual cricket rules. They are not following the actual cricket rules. They are following their own rules. For example, if you are playing on the road, you will make your own rules. You will follow your own rules. Like if the ball touches to this wall, you are out. If the ball cross that line, it's 4. You will prepare your own rules. Correct? You are following the Indian Cricket Council rules? No, you are following your own rules while playing. Same way, these players also following their own rules. They are not following the actual cricket rules. The scorer seated by the well kept up a fire of talk. He was both umpire, crowd and all, and flied a busy chalk. Scorer means one who wrote the score. Seated, where he seated? The scorer seated by the well, near the well. Kept up a fire of talk means a very high, angry, excited talk, maybe a commentary. Now, the scorer of the game, he was played many roles all together. He was an umpire, also crowd. He was cheering the players, maintaining scores board. And flied a busy chalk means he was writing continuously to maintain the scoreboard. The score was written by a boy who sat by the well. He was an all-rounder, umpire, commentator and crowd. He kept on give a commentary of the game with the chalk in his hand. Flied means moved. He was writing the score. He wrote the and rewrote the rising score. So, standing music on the scene, I let the moment pass. How well he drew it to the screen, and then the crash of glass. So, standing music on the scene. Music means thinking. I let the moment pass. Here I means poet. The poet is the I in the stanza. The poet was watching and thinking about the boys who were playing the game of cricket. One of the batsmen hit the ball very hard and the ball flew to the nearby window and smashed the glass. Here the word crash is onomatopoeia. It means an onomatopoeia is a word that actually looks like the sound it makes, and we can almost hear those sounds as we read. Here the word crash is a onomatopoeia. It means while reading that word we are hearing the sound. For example, beep, crash, whisper, hiss. I watched the players as they ran and heard while at they fled. The loud voice of an angry man, the law's majestic thread. I means here poet. The poet watched the players as they ran and heard while they had fled. Fled means ran away. While the players ran away, that time the poet heard the loud voice of an angry man. Who is angry man here? The owner of the house whose window the boys had broken. The law's majestic thread. Law's majestic thread means the fear that caught the children after breaking the glass of a man's window, and they are running away from the road for fear of being caught. Law is majestic, and violating the law evokes fear in the minds of people. Just because of the fear, they ran away from the place. This is the actual summary of the poem. Hope you all understood. Let's move to the assignment part. Open page number 30 in your textbook. Playing with words. Punctuate the following with appropriate use of capital letters, commas, quotation marks and full stops. So here they given 6 sentences to you. What you have to do? We have to punctuate the sentences. Punctuation is used to create sense, clarity and stress in sentences. You use punctuation marks to structure and organize your writing. Punctuation shows how the sentence should be read and makes the meaning clear. There are 14 punctuation marks that are commonly used in English grammar. The most common punctuation marks in English are capital letters, full stop, it means period, question marks, commas, colon and exclamation point. So here 6 sentences are there. You have to use the correct punctuation mark here. I will do one for you. My name is Meera Khanna. Here my M should be capital. Why? Because the starting letter of all the sentence should be capital. That's why M should be capital here. My name is Meera Khanna. So you know the rules. If it is a name, person name or a place, it should be capital. All nouns should be capital. So Meera Khanna is a person name. That's why M should be capital in the Meera and K should be capital in the Khanna. And there is a full stop. That is, it shows that endness of the sentence. So remaining 5 sentences you have to do it. That's your homework. And already you learned about sentences in the grammar. And you know that if it is an interrogative sentence, it should be end with the question mark. So read the sentence and think which type of sentence it is. Then apply the punctuation marks to it. Next, a suffix is a syllable which we put at the end of a word in order to get another word. Suffix means what? A suffix is a letter or group of letters added at the end of a word. We are adding suffix to the end of the word, not the front. We are adding suffix to end of the word, which makes a new word. The new word is most often a different word class from the original word. For example, sad. Sad is a word. When you add a suffix to it, NESS, sadness, punishment. So here is the activity to do. Fill in the blanks with appropriate words derived from the ones given in brackets. Already they given a word in the bracket. What we have to do? We have to add suffix to that word and we have to complete the sentence. We have to fill the blanks. First one, countless patriots gave up their lives for the dash of the Indian nation. In bracket they given the word free. So think you have to add a suffix to this word and you should fill the blanks in the sentence. That sentence should be meaningful. So free. So when you add a suffix, it will become freedom. Can we take that word? Okay. Countless patriots gave up their lives for the freedom of the Indian nation. Note down this using the pencil. He is nothing less than a human computer making complicated calculations dash. In the bracket they given the word accurate. He is nothing less than a human computer making complicated calculations accurately. Next, dash should be treated as a stepping stone to success in future life. They given the word fail. Failure should be treated as a stepping stone to success in future life. Fourth one, people dash their mistake after committing a crime. They given the word real. What is the answer? People realize their mistake after committing a crime. Last one. The dash caused pandemonium all over the country. Here the word judge. They given the word judge. What is the answer here? The judgment caused pandemonium all over the country. Next, a word which is nearly the same in meaning as another word or phrase is called a synonym. Synonyms means what? The word which has same meaning, nearly the same meaning, similar meaning. Here is one activity for you. Match the words in column A with their synonyms in column B. So already they given few words in the column A, and in the column B they given synonyms of that words. So what we have to do? We have to match the word with their synonyms. First one, provided. Any synonyms? Provided. Yes, supplied. Next, fancy. Same word we used in the lesson, last lesson, engine trouble. Fancy means imagine. Engaged. Employed. Glee. Joy. Pandemonium. Pandemonium means, actual pandemonium means confusion. Here the word chaos. Chaos is the nearly similar meanings to confusion. Chaos. The pronunciation of that word is chaos. Next. Fresh. New. Disappear. Vanish. Next. Open page number 36. A rhyme is a repetition of similar sounds in two or more words, most often in the final syllables, of lines in poems and songs occurring in the end. It adds musicality to the poem. For example, Humpty Dumpty sat on the well. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. Here well and fall both are rhyming words. Make a list of pair of rhyming words in this poem. This is your homework. Next one. Binomial pair is an expression containing two words which are joined by conjunction, usually and or. It refers to a pair or group of words used together as an idiomatic expressions or collections. The word order of a binomial pair is usually fixed. Here they given few examples for you. 6 and out. 6 and out. Step by step. Pros and cons. Complete the following table by matching the binomial expressions in column A with their meanings in column B. One has been done for you. Here they given 7 binomial pairs and they given its meaning in column B. Already one has done for you, that is by and large. It means on the whole. Second one, neat and tidy. Neat and tidy means clean and well organized. It means clean and tidy. Sick and tired. It means annoyed or frustrated with something or someone. Short and sweet. Something very quick and to the point. Up and down. Moving between the same 2 points repeatedly. Loud and clear. Very clear and very easy to understand. Back and forth. Moving first in one direction and then in another. Next one. Do you know what words used in sportsing context can also be used in non-sportsing context? For example, pitch, which means the wide central area where cricket is played. It means in sports context they are using the pitch. Same word we are using in normal context other than sports. It was also means highness or lowness of sound in a non-sporting context. They given one homework for you. Spot and list the words which can be used in both sportsing and non-sportsing contexts from this poem. This is your homework. Find out the word which is used both in sports context and non-sports context. That's all for today's video. We'll meet in the next week.